There we are. What up, Corey? You still on the phone? You're muted. I don't know if you're still on the phone, but
No, I'm
what
not.
up?
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Not so good.
Not too good?
Nah, couldn't sleep last night because it's pain in my back, gas pain, and been having it all day. Can't seem to get rid of it.
Corey, I'm telling you, you need to ask them to like put a valve back there or something like that. So you can just tug on like a little string or something. It'll release the valve and then release that gas. I'm telling you. Oh, well, that sucks. I wish you were feeling better. Um, we got James
Hello,
Durnall
James.
in the house. What up, James? James is a very avid supporter of the. Oh, James, hey, you're talking about we got no fight songs and whatnot, right? Well, we do have a victory song, and it's "When the Lights Go Down in the City" by Journey. And the sun shines on the bay. So I don't know. We like Jason Niner Mashy, Smash Massey was trying to come up with lyrics for that one. I don't know if you wanted to take a crack at that one too. Let me know. We got John in the house. What up? What up, John? He says, hi, Ryan.
Hello,
Hi,
John.
Corey. Let me clear my throat. Have mercy, babe. Any news about the 49ers office lately? Kind of been mentally zoned out after the shit show of Cleveland injuries. Yeah, last time I heard everybody was day to day. That was yesterday.
Well, today
And
I have CNA that um Greenlaw he came back to practice, and somebody else came back. Banks he came back to practice,
that's good.
but
Guessing
Debo,
Trent didn't.
Trent, and McCaffrey didn't couldn't practice. Well, they seen CMC on the sideline working with his trainer.
And how to put this? I don't know if
But
CMC really needs to get all the reps during the week to be able to play on
mm,
Sunday or Monday. So I'm I'm kind of thinking he could be one of them last minute things. And why they just let him rest up and I don't know. The oblique thing, that's have you noticed the oblique has been coming up a lot lately?
yeah,
I never heard about that being a
but
football injury, a normal football injury before in the past, but I not to saying that it wasn't. I'm just saying it's all of a sudden now the oblique, and I wonder what's causing that. Like, is there a certain move that's causing that? Is I'm just wondering.
yeah.
Kind of be interesting to know. Happy Friday. What up? What up, John Jay? Shout out to John Jay, 49ers Ultimate Report. Make sure you go check him out. Makes great content over there. Last I heard, CMC was getting an MRA. Any news on that front? No. We could search some up right now. Maybe I should turn my phone down real quick before we start playing thing. I was watching about some said it was an F-14 pilot in Afghanistan that wouldn't come off after he dropped his ordnance until he was relieved. I was like, oh, that's a good guy. I guess a whole bunch of Rangers were pinned down, and he was like, as long as I'm overhead, these guys aren't going to try and pull anything. So I'm staying overhead. I was
Mm.
like, good on you, bro.
Oh, I've got to tell you yesterday morning when I left here to go get my brother a haircut, and we were going down the freeway on 580, and on I think that exits Hoffman on the over ramp, or it might be Central, was the over ramp. There was a guy hanging off of there. So I had to dial 911 for him.
What's that? Sorry, I was reading the. It seems like the latest injury news for all of them is everything Korey just stated. Sorry, I was just confirming that was the latest news. Korey, your story? I wasn't able. I didn't. Something about 911.
Yeah, when I left yesterday morning to go, afternoon. It was 12 something. We was driving down the freeway 580, and I looked up and I saw this guy on the over ramp, but he was on the right. He was on the side where you shouldn't be. So I said, "Man," so I dialed 911. Man, did you know I was on hold for 911 for 20 minutes? 20,
Wow.
20 minutes it took them to answer. But somebody else called, so at least they knew about it. And hopefully, I don't know what the results, if they found them, if they got them up, anything.
Oh, Korey,
Mm-hmm.
can you introduce our co-host? Put it in the private chat.
Okay. But can you do me a favor next time? Could you put it on all caps?
Yes, you got it. You got it. Totally sorry about that, Korey.
Coming in, my brother. He lives not that far from you. Jason Niner Massey. Oh, what's it there, right?
Good enough for government work.
Smash
How's it going,
Massey.
James?
What up, Jason?
Not much, gentlemen. How you guys doing tonight?
It's Friday,
Good.
baby. It's the weekend.
Oh.
Me and Ryan aren't necessarily that close to each other.
It's ours.
That's what about 2.5, depending on traffic.
Oh yeah.
Well, y'all two a lot closer than I'm to y'all.
Traffic and speed.
Fair point.
And time, because in the middle of the night, if no cops are out, you know.
Yeah, I'll be there in about 20 minutes.
Yeah, you can get there pretty quick. You got to slow down for some things, but you know, there's a lot of straightaways.
Looking to stop, slow down, and fight a little bit.
Oh yeah, they're little bastards.
I have 2 speeding tickets, and both of them came with 5.
I don't have speeding tickets. I got pulled over once in the work vehicle, and I could have got a speeding ticket, but he's like, don't worry about that. Just stay out of the passing lane. I was like, cool. And he goes, because up here at a certain point it goes 70 for cars and truck and vehicle, you know, cars and like normal trucks, and then semis at 60. So I was in the passing lane doing my 70, and he's like, hey, you were 10 miles over. And I was like, but I'm and he's like, no, it's done on weight and this and that. And I was like, oh, okay, so I'm considered a semi. He's like, yeah, kind of. I was like, okay, my bad. And he's like, but you need to get this looked at, and I'm supposed to make it so you have to tow this thing out of here, but just get it back to your get it back to the shop or back to wherever you keep it, and then don't drive it until it's fixed. And I was like, okay. and he put a sticker on there. Like, if it gets caught without that sticker on it, you're like double fucked.
We had one of our drivers who drives a box truck got busted with a ball tire.
Dude, so do you know anything about 405?
A little bit.
Okay, so they made a pay lane, right?
Yeah.
So back in the day, my plumbing boss bought all the trucks, essentially the pass to be able to use that lane, right?
They're good to go.
Yeah, the good to go pass. And we started getting pulled over in the bigger trucks, and they were like, "Yeah, since you're over 10 thou, you can't be in the lane." I was like, "Fuck." So then I was like, "Look, dude, if you're gonna send me out to these jobs out in the morning, I need to take the little van." We had this what are they called? The Ford Express van.
Yep.
And I was like, "You need to, because that's the only thing that'll go in that lane, because that's the only, because you're gonna spend hours trying to sit there and wait for everybody who wants to go to work in Bellevue, and you've got to get another like 30, 40, maybe even an hour past Bellevue." It's fun. It's fun.
What's the saying? Seattle is an hour away from Seattle.
Oh my God. I swear it takes you 30 minutes just to get down the street in Seattle, just to get your car out of parallel park. You know what I mean? Like, bro.
When I lived in Japan, or in Tokyo specifically, Tokyo is half the size of Seattle, but has twice the populace, and yet the traffic is so much better.
Yeah. Seattle, like the city planners, they have a special place in hell to me.
Yes.
Like, those people are, beside like all the piece of shits like Hitler and whatnot, those people are like second.
They're like a ring right below Hitler.
Yeah, right below. I'm like to get across, like, Korey, you know how bad this city is? To get across town, you have to go, I can't remember the name of it, but it's that one awkward little right off the bridge, and that's the only way you get to like a quarter of the city. You got to take the same little.
You're talking about coming across 90?
I don't remember. I just was driving there all the time, and like I always had to take that one little thing just to get across the town to wherever this one neighborhood was. And I was like, God, why is this so stupid? This thing is like narrow, where it's like 1.5 lanes. It's just
that sounds like Seattle.
I'm like, God damn, can't you guys think about things and plan things out correctly? They've got no problems with just creating some stupid like arcing ramp that goes 3 turns and then back down to itself, and then like they're like, "See, we fixed it."
It was like down here in Tacoma. They spent the last 20 years fixing I-5, and it's 10 years behind. So what it is right now is like, it's designed for a 2010 population, and we're 2023.
They
Jesus Christ, people.
They did that up in Everett. There's a bend in Everett right before you come out and go to the flats and on your way to Marysville. And there's always congestion right there, right at that bend. And they widened it a little bit and did some things, and they moved it so you could get into the carpool lane a little earlier or whatnot. And I was like, dude, when you go to redesign something, you need to redesign it to last for 10 years in the future, not to get you updated to right now, because the next year we were back to the same congestion. It's
like computers. I don't know what the hell just happened with my camera.
Well, and like light rail, put the light rail all the way up. Put the light rail all the way up.
Go all the way with light rail, or don't do it at all.
Yeah. They could have done that in the 70s, and they voted it down, and now they're paying a shit ton more essentially for less, because you could have had a state-of-the-art system back then. And now, like, I used to ride BART a lot, Bart is a lot smoother of a ride than the Seattle light rail.
Bart is the Frisco one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've rode on Bart, I'm sure.
No, actually, I haven't. I've only been to the city like 4 or 5 times in my entire life.
We got Bebop in the house. What up, Bebop?
Love you,
What up,
Bob.
Bebop?
Appreciate you for stopping in. Hopefully that guy's all right. Yeah, huh? And then John says, hi, Jason.
How you doing, John LaJoy?
Yeah, that's the fun of living up here in the Pacific Northwest is
Hey,
the traffic.
John is
around the
kicking
city.
ass on his channel right now, in case anybody doesn't know.
Oh yeah, how many? What's he got going on? How many subscribers is he up to, John?
I
Hit
think
us
he's
with the
got
numbers.
5 right now. So everybody make sure to jump over to John's channel and subscribe to it.
John, you on Twitter? Hit me up. Hit me up on Twitter. Send me the link to your YouTube channel, and I'll post it here in the chat where people can
I got
click on it. All right, then
I'll put it in the private chat here in just a second.
Cool. Get that out for you, sir. Always want to put the homies on.
It ain't no fun. Wait a minute, that is not him. There's 2 of them.
Oh.
There's somebody else with the exact same name with him.
Oh.
Let me go into my my watched. I know it's there.
Are you already subscribed? You should hit your subscribers.
Yep.
So, while it's just us, Monday night versus Vikings. Jason, what's your thoughts? And Jason, how come you're not joining us on Wednesday nights on Korey's show to do pick'ems?
Because you guys are on way too late, dude. I get up at like 2 o'clock for work, so I'm in bed by the time you guys should start that show.
Okay, well, I got another thing for you. You can Korey needs to be sending you the card so you can send him your picks and you can be a part of the show without even being there. Just like you guys.
I think he did.
In
I
the
said
chat.
like, he did the first 2 weeks. I didn't get him in on time because of work, and I was like, "Yeah, I guess I'm just done. I'm not going to make it these ones."
Oh. Did Joe ever give you his picks, Korey?
Yeah.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why a lot of you guys
me.
that do shows. Sorry about that. After 5 p.m., I'm not on, or I don't even join because I'm getting ready for bed already. Like right now, even I'm like, oh, it's way past my bedtime.
Yeah, bedtimes. Try and break them when you're a kid, and then you get older, and you're like, no, that shit's a good thing.
But as far as Monday night goes, I think this is definitely a game that we could use as a bounce back. But I also don't think that the Vikings are as bad as their record shows. They've got good stats and everything across the board. But like on my show earlier, right before you guys went on, you take away the 9 lost fumbles that they have within like the 40-yard line, and their season is completely turned around. You know, their defense has had their backs up against the wall for half the season.
Yeah, but I don't believe they have Justin Jefferson.
Also true.
Which I think is a big thing as far as what their team can do. You know, as as their history. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he's a lot of it, getting that offense going. Not to say that they
Osborne
can't.
isn't bad, but
Yeah,
he's
not
no
to say they
Justin
can't
Jefferson.
produce. And yeah, Justin Jefferson, he's going to win those one-on-one matchups on third down. You know what I'm saying? Somebody you can always look to. Maybe he's not your first, because of the scheme, but if you need to in a rush and a bind, you can look and see where he's at. So, yeah, Korey again getting the gas out.
I think what is it? One of the picks that I had for the betting that TJ Hawkinson is under 75 yards passing or receiving, simply because I see Fred and Greenlaw just draping the hell out of him the entire game. Because he's probably their number one receiver right now.
Hawkinson, that's the guy I think who we need to really be concentrating on, especially if Jefferson isn't out, because I think you'd have to account for him anyways in your game plan, obviously. But with Jefferson now not being out, you've got kind of like a free pass to kind of give him all your attention.
You almost double him every single play.
Not what I'm saying is give him all your attention, but you know what I mean? That's the number one guy. That's the Justin Jefferson for the game, right? You know what I mean? Like that's the main guy now, and that's who will, always keep an eye on. All right, Korey. Don't forget to mute.
I agree. Probably run something with, one low, one high on him. Don't let him do anything, any sort of yak or anything with him.
Yeah. I've also he runs the same type of routes that he's really good at beating zone. You know what I mean? So he's good like Kittle, knowing where the zone is. He's good like Debo's good with knowing the zone and finding his spot. You know what I mean? So he's really good at that, and that's what I don't like, and that's why I like playing man more. I really like playing man on third downs.
If you stuck Fred on him, I don't see him getting away from Fred.
Well, I'd have like maybe Fred underneath and Tyshawn Gibson on over the top.
I'm good with that. Like
because
who's getting in between those two?
Well, you got Fred underneath to catch the interception. You got Tyshawn Gibson over the top to catch the interception. They're going to be going to him a lot. I think that's a smart plan. You know what I mean? You put two ball hawks on him who are Fred Warner's a freaking freak. You know what I'm saying? He's a freak.
Oh, he catches the ball. Here's Dre Greenlaw who suplexes him out of after he catches the ball. He'll know he's been hit all dang game.
These poor Vikings. Dre Greenlaw had to watch his team lose while he was on the bench on the sidelines, and now he gets unleashed on them.
He already plays angry. Now you got a little bit more of a little spice on top of it. Ooh.
Right. Oh, we got Eric in the house. What up, Eric?
What up, Eric? The Seahawks fan.
Yes. But he's a very very big supporter of content creators or football content creators. And that's why
Eric is what I call a Seahawk fan, not a 12.
Well,
there's a distinct difference between the two.
No, there's a 12 and then there's 2012s.
Same difference. Seahawk fan 12. I mean, we're talking about the same thing here,
though. Right. Yeah. I'm just saying, like, I don't want to take that away from the true fans because they've been, the ones that have got the jackets from the 80s still, you know what I mean? That are all like faded and worn. Those ones with the hats from the old school day with the little rope going across it with the green Seahawks on the corduroy and stuff like that. Those are the OGs that I respect.
If you got a Cortez Kennedy jersey, I got you.
Joe Stevens got one.
Joe, there you go. Like I said,
look at this.
There you go.
Joe's on the excavator playing with his nephew.
What do you think about their running back situation between Madison and Cam Akers? Who do you think ends up getting more yards?
What's that? Sorry. Joe's
Oh, good.
showing me picture of him and his nephew. They're on the, I don't know what they are on. It looks like a
Madison or Cam Akers? Who do you think gets more carries?
I don't know. Cam Akers, I can't remember how well he did against us. I could see if because he was against us when he played for the Rams, so I could see if he had good production against us. But I don't think he had like good games against us. But I might be mistaken. Oh, we got Damian Lee in the house.
What up, Damon? How you doing, brother?
What up, Damian?
I think Cam is the more dynamic of the two, but I'm more worried about Madison getting, those 3-4 yards over and over and over.
Yeah, I don't see. I think it would be like a game time thing when you got two backs like that. Essentially, the team itself is just like going ahead with a game plan, but the moment somebody does better than the one you thought was going to do good,
Yep.
then, you know how it goes. Except for when it's Kyle Shanahan, and he's like, "Oh, Jordan Mason, 5 carries, 27 yards.
Mm-mm.
Nah, let's
Let's
just
put in
keep
Elijah
him.
Mitchell.
Let's put in Elijah Mitchell.
I don't know about
Man
you,
of
but I'm kind of
glass.
done with Elijah. And it's not that I don't like Elijah. I just think we're getting so much more production out of Mason. It's like, why are we not going more to him, or is it simply because Elijah has that breakaway speed that he's banking on him
Well,
breaking one for 70 yards?
it's not just the speed; it's also the fact that he doesn't put the ball on the ground. So, to me, that's. But I think there's times where you can use both. Like, you can use both. Like I would have used Jordan Mason and his skill set and his durability in this last game because I would kind of take it to him. Like, if our offensive line isn't really getting after anybody, well, maybe the guy carrying the ball can start, making people sore. And then our offensive line can actually start blocking them. You know what I mean? And then other teams that are kind of, built to be fast, and maybe can be pushed around a little bit more. Maybe I want Elijah Mitchell then, so he can clip right through them. And then he doesn't get touched as much. And he can out defeat their speed with his speed. He just needs the offensive linemen to get in their way a little bit. So, like I said, there's places for everybody. It's just when you start using people in the wrong scenarios and not using people in the right scenarios is when you start looking like a dipshit, I would say.
Well,
Like
Kyle does tend to get those kind of things mixed up quite often. It's like he
at,
overthinks himself all the time.
at what point in the game, what quarter do you think you were like, hey, let's stop running Christian McCaffrey up the middle?
Almost at the second quarter because it wasn't working from the get.
Yeah. Okay. So now let's do something maybe like a dual back field. Something maybe. So you got two threats. You can do a Jordan Mason up the gut, which they're not going to want to see, 40 times, or well, not 40 times, but 15 times. They're not going to want to see that 15 times in a game. Or once you start, inching in to Jordan Mason up the middle, then we'll fake it to Jordan and then toss it to McCaffrey around the corner. Like, I don't see
Or
how
Devo.
that's.
Or Ray.
I
mean, we have many options.
Dude, Ray hit a nice sweep, and we did that hella late. We should have been doing stuff like that off the get. Like when when Debo goes down, we got to figure out how to make them scared of our other things. Okay, start doing some jet sweeps with Ray to make them respect that, and then once they respect that, that'll get them out of position for something else, right?
Yeah, you start
'Cause
looking
they have
at Ray for those sweeps, and all of a sudden BA's open over the middle for
Yeah.
15, 20 yards a pop.
Texas route or something. You know what I mean? Like there's Kyle's the genius. He should know. Just work something, find something that's going well and abuse it till it gets him out of position and hit a home run.
It's funny,
Shit.
as much as Kyle is a genius, it's like he overthinks it so much. It's like, why are you getting away? Like last week, the outside runs were getting us a pretty good yardage per every carry. But what does he do? He goes back to that short passing game, and then he goes to the running up the middle. And all of a sudden, it's like, dude, it's not getting anywhere. Get away from it. Like, I don't know how to put it. Other than stubbornness, it's like he has his little game plan, and to an extent, he's not willing to change it to fit the situation at times.
Yeah. Whoops, what am I doing wrong? There we go. There we go. Got a little more light on the subject. I was watching somebody. Oh gosh, it was like a. Let's get into the weeds here. You know about the whole flat earthers?
Yes.
Okay. So this one guy was trying to say that all the space station footage was fake because there was 3 dots of light in the guy's helmet. And so this guy is just debunking this thing. I can't. Oh, where was I going with this? Oh, I can't remember where I was going with this. Sorry. But anyway, they do.
I don't know, but I find the whole flat Earth thing fucking hilarious. Like,
Bro, holy moly. Like, I remember as a kid watching how one person found out how the world was round and looking at that going, oh, I can recreate that. You know what I mean? Like that experiment that he did, I could do that. You know how he did it? He took a piece of paper. He had 2 sticks and two clumps of mud. Well, he didn't have paper. He had papyrus, right? He had heard that a certain well at noon on the equinox, I think it is, you could see directly down the well, right? And this is more towards the equator or whatnot, right? So he realized in his town you couldn't see down the well. So he goes, how's this? So he puts 2 sticks on the paper with the mud and he bends them until one has no shadow and the other one still has a shadow. And he realized the earth is curved because the light's coming from one point, and for them to be no shadow in one and to be a shadow where you can't see the bottom in another, that means it has to be curved. So like I was like, I can redo that. So like ever since then, like it's hard to tell me anything other than the world is curved because I can recreate that and understand that. You know what I'm saying?
I just think it's a funny conversation. People are like, it's flat. You can't tell me otherwise. Same people who think that the moon landing was fake and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's like, oh, okay. So how do you take, how do you make up for the difference in the no difference in time from flying to 2 places in Europe the same distance apart as from 2 places the same distance or the same distance apart essentially in the southern hemisphere? You know what I'm saying? Like on a flat earth, the southern part is expanded all the way around, so it would take like I don't know what 4 times longer to traverse the same amount of space in a globe, but yet
Isn't that when you
there's
take the
no
string
time
and you
difference.
put it in 2 spots and then you drag it up and it just goes whoop? And that's what the curve.
I don't know. And you know how they say water finds level?
Okay.
I heard from somebody they are, because they always talk about water finds its level, right? So the oceans essentially they can't be on a globe because water finds its level, and as far as they can see, the water is level, right? So water finds its level. But I guess water isn't level. The water will adjust its height essentially to what's underneath it. Not that you have cliffs and this and that, but they can see what's underneath it because the water is actually higher in certain areas where you have like certain peaks and whatnot, because they can map that from satellites with lasers. It's a new thing they're doing now to kind of get an idea of what's on the seabed, because like we've got, you see those maps and stuff that they got on like Google and all that stuff. Yeah, they don't know that shit's out there. That's all fucking just
That shows
something they,
the seafloor.
yeah. Like, you know, like when you look on the Google map, you can kind of, you thinking, oh, look at all these like underwater volcanoes and whatnot, or underwater mountains and this and that. And it's like, they don't really know. It doesn't necessarily look like that whatsoever. We've got no clue because there's like no real data. But yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. They finding lasers to find.
Well, it's also constantly changing with like tectonic plates movements and earthquakes and volcanoes underneath the sea. So there's also that on top of it.
Yeah, we're stuck on a rock out in the middle of the ocean right now. We got a we got a subduction zone right off the coast of Washington here.
Oh, we're screwed if we get like a 9-point earthquake. We're all dead here.
No, I don't know about that, but don't be in Seattle when it happens, because 20% of Seattle is supposed to liquefy.
Glad I
Which,
don't live there for many
yeah,
reasons.
but
So
Japan,
James down.
Japan's going to be screwed, because this happens all the time. This happens like every 500 years or so, and they get hit with a tsunami.
Well, can you see the scar?
No, what's up?
So I spent, I lived in Japan for 10 years. So the last earthquake that Japan had, that was the major one. I'm sure everybody knows about that one. So I slept on a futon when I was in Japan, obviously on the floor.
Oh, what up? Hold on 1 second. Barry Baller in the house.
What
What
up,
up,
brother?
Baller?
So when that earthquake started, my lamp fell off because it was at like, middle of the night. Busted me in my head. I've got blood just dripping down my face. It's the middle of fucking December. I'm outside like this robe and like my underwear, freezing my ass off. But yeah, earthquakes in Japan are no joke. They're constantly going off. There was one earthquake drill that we had during school where there was an earthquake at like 10 o'clock in the morning. Teacher turned around. He's like, "Massey, sit your ass down. Tired of you jumping up and down." I'm like, "Motherfucker, I was sitting."
Baller said he was just in downtown Seattle just a couple weeks ago. You should have let the homies know, bruh. Did you
We
have a
came
Mac
out.
and Jack? Did you have a Mac and Jack? That's the number one tap handle in the state of Washington. Can't get it in a bottle. You probably won't find it in anywhere out of state. Really good beer. It'll be a shame if you didn't have a Mac and Jack or a Manny's Pale. Those are a staple.
Did you have one of these?
Oh, see, that's the African. Is that the Serengeti wheat?
Well, that's the Mac and Jacks.
Oh, they're canning it now?
Yeah, they are canning it now.
Oh, baller.
This, if you can find this beer particularly, this is one of the best beers you can get in the entire world. This beer fucking is awesome.
It's a great beer. It's a little filling.
It is.
To me, it's filling, but that's a great beer to sit, like, I don't know. I don't necessarily want to have it with food, but if you're going to have like 1-2 beers, maybe 3 beers at night, that's a great beers to have.
It's a good beer to have with appetizers. Like, I wouldn't have it with like an actual meal, but for the appetizers, it's great to go with.
Coming from a long time beer man, just saying.
I don't drink as much beer as I used to.
Bro, I used there's been many times I've been to a Snowcap release party. The last time I'm drinking Snowcap out of a hand chiseled shot glass, essentially. A piece of ice that was hand chiseled, and I'm like, was it hand chiseled? I think it was. It could have been molded. I don't know. That stuff's crazy. The Snowcap. I'm not a big fan of it, but they
See,
throw a hell of a
Eric's
party.
comment. Is that the Nisqually? I think he's talking about the Nisqually Quake. Sounds about right.
Oh, yeah. I remember. So I'm in class, and somebody turns around and says, Matt, stop shaking your foot. And I go, about ready to say, yeah, Matt, stop shaking your foot. And then I realize it's not his foot. This is an earthquake. So I go, it's an earthquake. And everybody jumps under everything. Two ladies get out of the desk and go underneath the big table. And then one of them starts telling the teacher that I'm not under my desk, right? Because I don't fit under my desk, and you guys took the table. You know what I'm saying? So she's like, get under your desk. So I get under my desk. The thing is leaning up on my head, right? So I just get back up in my desk and sit down, ride out the rest of it. Yeah.
There was another
But
time in Japan where we had an earthquake, and like you said, I don't fit underneath the desk. So what I did was I stood up and I picked up the desk and I put it over top of my head, and then I got detention. Like, what am I supposed to do? I don't fit underneath this small ass desk.
Well, baller, they start tasting so good while you're on a roll. You know what I'm saying? You got to wet your whistle. You know what I mean? Yeah. No, like I went through the 1989 earthquake and all that. So I'm not like I know what a bad earthquake was like, and that one wasn't bad. It at the end it started to shake a little violently to the point where I was like, wait, maybe this is getting bad. And then it like stopped. And I was like, huh.
I've lived through so many with living in Japan. It's like, man,
I'm sure.
the Nisqually Quake was the first one I actually was like, oh shit, this is an actual earthquake.
Like we just had one, and somebody was like, did you feel it? And I was like, how big was it? And they were like, I think, what'd they say it was?
It's like 2.1 or something like
Yeah.
that.
You don't
Yeah, I was
feel
like,
those.
no.
What are you talking about?
Like,
Get
dude,
outta
my
here with that
house
shit.
shakes if I fucking stomp my foot harder than that.
You got that's a problem with your not your foundation, but your like a choice.
Yeah, this house is old. Oh,
Uh
there's a Korey returning.
my roommate's playing Rage Against the Machine right now. It's hard to concentrate. Rally around the family with a
Full
pocket full of shells. They rally around the family. So I remember when this song came out, I was stayed home from school for 2 days pretending to be sick. And I was watching MTV all day, and I was trying to figure out where the turntables were. And then it was like halfway through the second day, I realized it's his hands. He's on the guitar and he's just moving his hands up and down on the strings. And then my mind was blown. And then
what's that guy's name? Tom something, wasn't it?
Tom Morello.
That's it. Yep.
He sits on like the people that vote people into the Hollywood Rock or the Rock Hall of Fame or something. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I don't even think that's his best.
I'm here, but I'm
solo.
going to eat my dinner.
What you got?
You're welcome.
Chicken and rice.
Chicken and rice.
And vegetables.
All right.
Sounds like half my vegetables for my weight loss shit.
Mm-hmm. Come on, where is?
I don't like white rice.
We can't be friends.
I'd rather have quinoa. I'd rather have like if I'm gonna, I'd rather have brown rice just because it's like, I guess, better
No.
for you. If I'm gonna have to eat rice, what's the
Like that much better for you though, man. Just get white rice.
look? If I'm doing rice other than fried rice, I just I don't like bland ass white rice.
Put something with it. Some
It makes
garlic
me
and butter, some pepper.
see. There we go. Now we can start doing stuff. But you got to add like some of my favorite stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like when you say garlic, I'm like, yeah, I could do anything with garlic. You know me.
Make some musubi
But
with it. I make musubi all the time with my rice.
what's musubi?
Spam, rice, and seaweed,
Oh,
basically.
I don't like my spam unless it's got it's charred a little, kind of. You know what I mean? Like,
That's the only way to have spam.
okay, just wanted to make sure, like, because I've seen some people they're doing like it changes the taste of everything when there's a little bit of char on the spam, and then it becomes edible. Smells like dog food when you open it. Dog or cat food.
Now, I will say that, and this hurts me as an Islander, at least half of me. Turkey spam is the way to go.
No.
Yes. If you make musubi, which a lot of islanders eat, like I said, it's just turkey, it's just spam, rice wrapped in seaweed, blah, blah. Once you put everything together, you don't taste the fucking difference.
No.
Yes.
For anybody out there, use the breakfast bacon flavored spam. That is the one you use.
That is
just
the
so you
best
know.
one. I'm not going to lie, but I have a food loss channel for my weight loss because everybody asked me to make a channel for it. And the turkey musubi is one of the best ones I've made.
Okay. Gosh. Well, Corey's eating his dinner.
So we're bringing back to 49ers football.
He must have made that thing and
Seen it.
you know what I'm saying? He was gone for so long. He must have
He microwaved it, threw it in the oven and everything.
Yeah. Everything. He's been in there for hours. Damn near half the show gone, Core. So you were talking about the Vikings defense.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a lot of people who are day to day. What's your thoughts on what our offense would look like if everybody who's day to day is out? What kind of production do you think our offense?
Are you talking about like if we're missing both, like say CMC and Devo
and Trent Williams?
And Trent Williams? I'm seeing a lot of it being that short passing game, which we know Purdy can execute. A lot of like quick slants to like BA, Ronnie Bell, Juwan Jennings, those kind of guys. They're gonna have to get open within like 5-10 yards from the snap because they blitz 57% of the time, which basically is over every other play. They're going to be blitzing, and again, when he came in versus the Dolphins last year, the Giants earlier this year, he can perform in a way to get that ball out quickly to those guys. So we're definitely going to have to see that, whether or not, someone like BA, or not, excuse me, not BA, but like Ronnie Bell, Juwan Jennings, those kind of guys, Ray McLeod, are going to be open to get those yak yards afterwards because they're going to be getting the ball really quickly. I'm not going to say that we can definitely excel at it, but it's something this offense is built around, and that Brock Purdy can get the ball out quick enough to those guys, as long as everything holds up in front of him.
This is the other.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, one thing I see, you were talking about like the blitzing, and 51% of the time, is that just on pass plays, or is that all together? Like
Altogether.
run blitzes. I'm guessing they're doing some run blitzes too. So I see them pulling run blitzes to like the field side or to the middle, just on a regular basis on first downs, because we like to come out and run the ball on first down and give us options for second down and then clean up on third. And so I'm worried about essentially the run blitzing more so, because if you're already planning to, a lot of our plays go to the field side, our runs, if we're not running up the middle. A lot of them go to the field side, and it's because you can have more players over there. You get more space to make moves. It's more advantageous to the running back, essentially. You know what I mean? So that could be an issue because it's kind of a telltale. Anyway, it's a thing we do. Yep, it's whatever I was trying to say. It's something we do, and I'm a little bit worried about that because I think, look, them blitzing on third down, whatever. Purdy's got this. You know what I mean? I have a feeling. So I'm not like sketched out about that. It's more the run blitz on like first down that can kill a whole drive.
Put us behind the sticks and everything.
Right, on first down, and then now we got to be second down and we got to throw it, and they know it, and then they're going to put pressure on us, so we have to throw it quickly, which means a short pass. And if it's incomplete on second down, then we're third and long, and we have to get it all in one chunk at that point. So see, that's the type of stuff I think, maybe you get a couple first downs on them, and all of a sudden they blitz you on first down and catch you in the backfield, and you're on the 40, and this is where we're at.
Which is where I think someone like George Kittle, for example, comes in, should have a big game because they're blitzing constantly coming at him. You get a couple of those George Kittle passes over the top where he gets 15, 20 yards because everybody's in and he's getting tackled by a safety deep down the field. Hopefully they'll back off a little bit, which allows us to do some more of that running game to begin with our first down.
You notice how the running games kind of switched from being the short stuff to kind of the deeper stuff a little bit lately, and it seems like it's been helping out the run game a lot more. Other than last game. Other than the last game. So, have you noticed how Brock Purdy's pushing the ball down the field more than he kind of had been on a regular basis in all the games last year and some of the earlier games this year? Not to say that he never threw it downfield, but it seems like they're trying those 15 and 20 yarders more and more than the shorter stuff, I think. And to me, I think it's because it opens up our run game more, because everybody on the defense has to be back more because we're targeting a different part of the field more often. It's like back in the day, that was our kill shot. You know what I mean? We'd run the ball down the throat, little pass here, Jawan Jennings get a third down, run the ball again, first down, get, this and that. And then boom, it's Ayuk with the deep crosser. That was like our kill punch. And now that's what we're trying to do on second down. You know what I mean? Like second down, that's the play. So
I think a lot of teams are playing that zone defense against us because they're expecting Brock to make those mistakes. And he doesn't make those kind of mistakes for the most part. You want to, cover everything really good up top and stop the run. Okay. We'll hit you for that 5-10 yards over the middle. But then, BA will get some yak yards for another 5 or 10, turns into a 20-yard play. So, you can go ahead and take that away from Brock, but he's not going to hesitate and make the correct reads and throw it to his the receivers underneath everything, and they'll go for another 5 or 10 yards with the catch.
We got 49ers throwback in the house. What up, throwback? Oh, we're going to have issues with that again. All right. Eric Wallace. Oh, I missed that. Thankfully, a music teacher brought me with him until I was over. Uh-oh.
He's talking about the earthquake.
Oh, yeah. Right here. I was in, where was I? Land of Adventure preschool. in '89.
Right.
I think that was in Martinez. I think that
Are you
was in
talking?
Martinez.
Well, because there was the '89 earthquake and the other one was in '01, wasn't it?
Yeah, the one up here. Yeah.
Yeah.
My mom.
You were in preschool in '01, were you?
No, it wasn't no World of Adventure preschool. It was my daycare. I was 7. So it's where I went after school. My mom
I'm
worked
confused.
in the city.
7 for the '09 earthquake or excuse me, the '89 or the '01?
89.
Okay.
Well, I couldn't be 7 for the 01 and been through the 89.
That's where I was confused. Maybe I've had a little bit too much drink.
Yeah.
Could be. The math is not my forte.
I seen one guy who says I don't math in public.
I don't
Which
math
is
in private, especially new math.
I love a good chance to at least do a good math problem in my head. You know what I mean? Like not that I'm looking at it, but it's kind of well.
I hate math. For as good as I was at like science, I sucked at math.
Yeah, they found. I was talking or no, I was watching something, and they were talking about how a lot of these people who deal with these big numbers and can multiply just stupid numbers and divide stupid numbers in their head, they never liked math. It's just they have a knack once they get past a certain point, and they're like, oh shit, I can actually do this crazy stuff. So I think that's what they're trying to find with all that stupid math they're doing nowadays.
I've tried new math, like I've tried going with it step by step. I'm like, I could have done this in 2 steps by doing what I was taught in elementary school 40 years ago.
Yeah. I think they're trying to figure, like, I think I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to get kids to be able to do like these big equations in their heads, essentially, without necessarily being 100% right, but being close enough. Like if you're doing
statistical math, you want to be right.
Not necessarily. If you're doing like statistical data, what matters if you're off a percent or two? You know what I mean? If you can pump out that number right then and there just by looking at something and go, yep, that's the give or take a percent. You know what I mean? That's a handy thing. But yes, you want to be able to find the exact amount. It's just, I haven't gone through it, so I don't know how to critique it. All I know is that to me, it seems like they're trying to figure out a way to get our kids to figure out how to process big numbers in their head at the same time. But yes, like let's say we're going to space, right? As a population, they're like, let's get all these people to do math. Well, if they can't figure out the exact measurements on things, the exact number, how are you going to put a satellite around a distant planet? You know what I mean?
Yeah, because if you're off by like the smallest margin, you're dead.
Bro, we tanked millions of dollars worth of stuff because we forgot to switch from kilometers into feet. Or not kilometers, but meters into yards. You know what I mean?
We didn't ever change it into freedom units.
Right. But if you look up the definition of an inch, you will get a metric measurement, because the metric measurement is more precise of a measurement. You can measure it more precisely with a metric than you can by explaining it with anything else.
Yeah.
And the metric system, like, how to put this? The metric system is broken down into like, well, no, like So the speed of light broken down into units turns into meters and this and that. So essentially, like a meter is based off how far light will travel in a certain amount of time, and that becomes a distance. And then you can use that, this and that, and you can check that with another, and then you can check each measurement with another measurement essentially in the metric system. So it's a really smart way of doing things. I'm just saying.
Welcome back, Korey.
Yeah, how was the chicken and rice?
That's pretty good.
Do you put anything on top of your chicken and rice, like some Yoshidas or anything like that?
I just put garlic butter.
Ooh, see, you were talking about garlic butter before, Jason, and he was already having the garlic butter on there.
And a little pepper on it, or some soy sauce. I'm good to
Dude.
go.
When I was a kid, I was like, why is my dad putting all this black pepper on this shit? Right now, I'm like, black pepper on my fries, like crazy. You know, you've seen some people put a shit ton of salt on their fries and like, you're nasty. I'm kind of like that with pepper. You know, I want some peppered fries. Oh, haven't been eating much fries lately, though. So, Korey,
Yes.
your thoughts on us going up against the Vikings and them probably blitzing us more than 50% of the time.
So we got to do the same thing we did to the Giants. Make sure Brock Purdy's getting that ball out of his hands real fast. And plus, if we don't have Trent Williams out there, so he need to make sure that we get that ball out of his hands fast, hit some slants like Jason was saying, and try to call some running plays, catch them off guard when they blitz.
Is anybody confident with Jalen Moore out there?
No.
No.
Right now, you know, he could do things during the game that could prove me wrong. You know what I mean? And they could shut me up, at least for a little bit, probably. You know what I mean?
Right now?
Right now, no, not at all. But I have a feeling that Kyle's scheme, you know, if he's doing it right, like with the quick passes and whatnot, not like just totally letting the defensive end go free, even though Tyler Kroft I think he did his best, and he did a lot better than I'd expect him to do, but still wasn't shit. But I think we could figure something out, especially if we're passing when they think we're running and running when they think we're passing. If we're in their heads enough to where they don't know what the hell they're doing, that'll slow up the rush a little bit. So
yeah,
that's where I'm at. Oh, Bebop in here. I'd rather have Matt Pryor over on the left side, he says.
I'm not necessarily against that idea, to be honest with you.
Okay, Korey. We've got, I'm guessing you dropped the link for him?
Yeah.
Okay, you want to introduce him, please?
Coming in, my brother from Daly City, California, John J. The dope rhymer.
Oh, I forgot. I got to hit the button too.
What's up, everybody?
What up, John Jay?
What's up, John Jay? How you doing, brother?
Nothing much.
We just partying in here,
Mm-hmm.
talking about food. Oh, shoot. Let's see. Korey, we have another person jumping in the chat. Let me Put their
Getting
name
busy in
there
here.
for you.
Okay, let's see who it is. Okay. Here we go. Here come my brother, all the way from Utah. Yes, we got to meet in person. David McNiner.
How's it
What
going
is up,
tonight,
sir?
guys?
What's up, David?
Now
How you doing,
that you're
brother?
here.
I'm all right. Had a long week.
That it was.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
I literally thought I only had 1,900 holes to drill today, but there ended up being 2,016. It was kind of insane.
Oh, damn.
And if I
Jesus
wasn't
Christ.
proficient with my left hand, it would have took me a long time, you know. But I
That's
just
what she
switched hands
said.
every time one
Are you
started to get cramped, you know.
are you Brock Purdy in it? Learning how to throw with the left hand?
I've actually
Hey,
broke my
did you
right
hear what?
wrist twice, so I've had to learn, how to do everything I do with my left. So,
Gotcha. Did you hear what I said about Zen the other day?
yeah, 7-Eleven, they're having a deal.
Yeah. Thought I'd let you know. They're like half price.
Man,
I
sometimes
was like, wait,
you hold on. Do you guys? You know what? Do you guys have Maverick? Do you have a convenience store named Maverick in your areas at all?
no.
Nope.
Oh, I feel bad for you guys.
I've got a, what do you call it? A Flying J. A Flying J. It's a big, huge truck stop thing. You can get like full pizzas for like 10, 11 bucks. It's a cool, you can take showers.
Yeah, we got a couple Flying J pilots. Love
Yeah.
when it comes to truck stops. Those are the three main ones we got around. But Maverick, it's just a convenience store. It's called Adventures per Stop. YouTube, this is not a paid promotion. Let me start there.
Maybe it should be.
But they have the best breakfast. I mean, their lunch and dinner, it's mid. I'm not gonna lie there, but their breakfast is bomb. And I mean, their coffee machines, they're all like grinders that grinds the beans and like makes the coffee 100% fresh. And
Oh, I don't like coffee, but I can
yeah,
see.
they got great donuts and muffins too. I mean, the place, it's a good place to go. They got
Keep it in your
like
pants, David.
everything there.
Keep it in your pants, David.
Hopefully they're spreading up to your area.
I know, like, I tell everybody, San Francisco in the last decade, the businesses has been moving out to Daly City because, the prices for the businesses. So it's McDonald's, Subways, which are basically the only fast food places. All the Pizza Huts are gone. So, yeah, not too many companies want to work here. So it sucks. We don't have all these cool,
Yeah, it's the same here in Seattle.
Mhm.
Hey, what's up, brother?
What's up?
Hey,
Beto
Beto.
stopping in. Good night, everyone. Are you going to bed, Beto? All right.
Damn. Oh,
Let's see what I was thinking about. Oh, Carcast haven't been in the chat, have you?
No, I
I
have
haven't
not
seen
seen
him.
Carcast yet.
Mhm.
Okay.
Why
See,
has
like
he
you
not
say,
got
he
his
don't
picks?
forget. Nope.
I told you. I told him.
Mhm.
I said, look, Carcast. I said, you should do that right now.
Mhm.
You should do that right now because you're going to forget. Guess what he did? He forgot.
And I sent him a message saying, I still need your pick, week 7 picks. That's it from
Week
that.
7
After I got
already.
off the show last night.
Oh, watching movies with the wifey. Hey, you should watch that Last of the Mohicans. It's got a love story in there, but there's all those badass battle scenes, and then the scenery at the end. Well, the scenery throughout it is pretty, but at the end, man, oh my gosh, it's all these like mountain cliffs and trees, and it's just beautiful. And oh man, I just love to crawl all over those rocks. There's also a bad guy in there named Magua, who's like, let's say his necessary, like his word acting is not necessarily the greatest in that movie, but when he gives these certain looks, he doesn't need to say words. You know exactly what he's saying, and he's the best at that. You know what I mean? Like he's a Native American gentleman. I can't remember his name right now. He's a famous Native American actor. He's been in a lot of movies, but he's one of the best villains out there. Him and like Tim Roth from Rob Roy. You guys seen Rob Roy? Oh, you guys got to watch that one. Ooh,
I've seen it.
ooh. You seen it, Jason?
Yep.
Yeah. When Tim Roth gets it, I'm like, it's like one of those stands up and standing ovation. You're like, yeah, yeah. He's such a good villain in that movie. I like
Probably
a
one
good
of the better
villain.
villains in the last 5 or 6 years.
Who? Who was?
Shit, what's his character's name?
I was talking about Rob Roy, the movie Rob, but Tim Roth and Rob Roy. I can't remember what the character's name is, but that was like I think in the 90s.
I must be thinking about a different one then.
Yeah, you gotta check out that Rob Roy. I'm telling you, you'll be like, dude, the guy's wife is gangster as fuck. Look, she gangster. She handling business. Just saying, don't cross that wife, and especially don't make no comments about somebody crossing that wife, and she can hear it because your ass is grass. Telling you, go watch that Rob Roy. Go watch that Rob Roy. I'm telling you, it's a great movie.
That's not the one with the like the 90s gangsters?
No, Rob Roy with what's his name? The guy from Taken.
I am definitely not talking about the same one you are.
No, Rob Roy. You got your phone handy?
I do.
Google Rob Roy. Rob ROY. ROB ROY. Liam Neeson, Tim Roth. Telling you, that is a great movie.
So, David and John Jay, your thoughts on Monday night's game?
Yeah.
John Jay, you want to go first?
Well, it's always fun watching 49ers football. Doesn't matter if it's Thursday, Sunday, or Monday. So I'm very excited. We're playing the Minnesota Vikings. I do talk a lot of crap about the team because I am not sold on their defense. They have a lot of great players, but I'm not sold on their defense. I do think Brock Purdy will bounce back. It was one game. It happens. It's a good learning for Brock Purdy, and I'm excited it happened for him, and it's just going to make him better. Like all the Hall of Fame quarterbacks have had bad games, so like some people who are 49er fans need to stop, taking shots at Brock Purdy because it was one game. Only 11 career starts in the regular season, so there's a lot to learn. I hope
breaking news. Brock Purdy doesn't walk on water.
What?
He's human, just like the rest
I
of us.
saw a YouTube video of him just trucking across the river.
Ugh.
He does not solve leprosy issues, so do not call him.
Are we sure about that?
Kinda.
So, yeah. So I'm excited. Can't wait. So that's how I feel about the game.
Look, sorry to cut you off, David. I was,
You're good.
wondering what Brock Purdy was going to bring to the table. I was a little kind of concerned at the beginning of the year and all that good stuff, right? But even me, I'm like, well, he's human. He's had his bad game. Okay, now we know what his bad game looks like. Okay, this is what his bad game looks like. This is his one out of how many? I'm not ready to just pack everything up and start looking for somebody else over this. You know what I mean? I think scheme was some of it. We couldn't get together with Brandon Ayuk, so got to chill on the man. Once he has a pattern, that's an issue.
Yeah, it's too early to say if he's going to be the bust or the savior in general.
David McNiner, I cut you off, so please. Oh, and Carcast is in the house.
Well,
Carcast, get your picks in.
Yeah, you gotta get your picks in there, Carcast. But you can't sleep on any NFL team. The Browns, they do have an incredible defense. Jim Schwartz, for some reason, whatever reason, owns Kyle Shanahan. He should just claim
Dog
that,
walking.
but he's probably not going to. But you can't sleep on any NFL team, even a team that's missing their best offensive player. Their defense, they're nothing special. They've they've been losing, though not by much, but they haven't been winning by much. They haven't done anything spectacular so far.
Some of the Vikings.
Yeah, I'm talking about the Vikings.
Every
And
game is
it's
within
just
8
kind of
points.
it's one of those games that we gotta take every opponent seriously. It doesn't matter what we think of them. Kyle Shanahan, I don't know if you guys heard him talking about Kirk Cousins to the media. He's like, he's elite. This. It's like, exactly. What are you saying, Kyle? Like, are you building him up? Are you trying to piss off our defense? It's like, I'm not quite sure what Kyle's trying to do there.
Bro, he's had a man crush since forever.
Well, then the Niners should have signed him back in the day. But no, that's right. They traded for James Richard Garoppolo at that point. And they already had James when Kurt became a free agent. But if his plan was to go after Kurt, why didn't he put his foot down and say, all right, John Lynch, go get me this guy?
Yeah. Or have a plan in place to be there to wait for him to become a free agent and be like, Kurt, come on, let's come back home, homie. Like, there should have been, like, you didn't have to necessarily get Jimmy if you wanted to wait a year and get Kirk Cousins, right? You could have just put in the crappy quarterbacks that you thought were great in the previous drafts and get another high pick, and then you don't even have to trade for him. You can just give him the money that he wants that you're going to have to give him anyways, and then he's on your team.
Yeah, well, I'm glad it worked out that way. Kirk Cousins seems not to can win primetime games. Only won one, I believe. And so this is going to be a primetime game. I wonder, Viking lady named Jade, I'm going to keep on trying to see, I want to ask her, do she know about things that all of us teams opponents are saying about her, right, about Kirk Cousins? Do she know that we saying that he can't win primetime games? And also, I know she don't like her cousin. She's like us on Jimmy G.
Yep.
She said she'll say, I do not like her cousin. I forgot what other quarterback she liked because that quarterback went to another team, and she just root for that quarterback, but not for that team. I can't think of who it is. So 49ers, yeah. Now we can look past the Vikings. We can, but the players can't. They need to be focused on the Vikings. Now we can overlook them because they ain't gonna hurt us to overlook them, but as fans, but the players and the coaches can't.
Yeah.
I haven't had a chance to look at the injury report. It's Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
Good time to do it.
Everybody's still day to day,
Mm-hmm.
except for Greenlaw.
I will say this to Corey. I disagree. I think that if we had Kirk Cousins rather than Jimmy G, we win that Super Bowl in 2019.
I don't know.
Hey, Kirk Cousins is more capable than Jimmy G. Well,
Yeah.
hold on. We're saying his name wrong, guys. James Richard Garoppolo.
There you
Now,
go.
And I don't know if Kirk Cousins has really had a talented person at the head of his offense, essentially. Well, maybe as far as like game time calling plays, like maybe they can scheme it up, but game time they don't. Like, look at Kyle. Kyle even makes bad decisions in game times where it's like, Kyle, you should be your bread and butter right here, bud.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I've watched a lot
Kirk's
of
boring as show. Sorry about that, John Jay. Go ahead.
I've watched a lot of games from Kirk Cousins going back to his days in Michigan State. He was a good quarterback in Michigan State. Then he went to the Commanders. They had no defense around him, but he put up the numbers. And then the reason why Minnesota traded for him was the year before their quarterback was Case Keenum, and they made it to the NFC Championship game, and they thought if they get Kirk Cousins, they're a Super Bowl team. So that didn't work out for them.
That's the quarterback that Jay liked, Case Keenum.
Mm-hmm.
But would you guys
Case
have taken Jimmy G or Kirk Cousins?
I would have probably taken Kirk Cousins just for the fact that Kirk Cousins had more starting time.
Yeah.
If I had my choice back then, here we are right now. But back then, I would have picked Kirk Cousins because of James Richards' injury history, and Kirk Cousins had shown more in the league, more established. I got to quit saying,
everything, right? If I knew everything I knew about Jimmy in his Patriot days that I do now, then, definitely not. No,
yeah,
Jimmy.
There's been some shit that's come out about Jimmy during his Patriot days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll take Kirk Cousins. I would have took him back then. When Cal started talking about getting him, I was like, okay, he seemed to be really cool from Washington. But then we got Jimmy G. And I was like, oh. And I didn't really know nothing about Jimmy G. All I knew he come from the Patriots and he was their Tom Brady backup. And I'm like, okay, let's see. But when he won them 5 games, I was with Jimmy G. And then he gets injured. And I'm like, and I started seeing him falling apart. And I'm like, oh, he's not the future for the 49ers.
And Kirk takes a beating in Minnesota.
Yeah.
We got Randy Daytona in the house.
What up, Randy?
Mhm.
Someone needs to get Randy on the show.
Yeah, Rennie's a cool dude.
Him and Bebop someday. You know.
Yeah.
They need their own show.
Yeah, and they're funny. There's a guy called John Reed. He's more hilarious. He needs to know about this channel. So when I see him, yeah, he's very hilarious and he's always sarcastic in the chat. Yeah.
We love some good sarcasm.
Yeah.
So, do you guys think that Kirk Cousins hit Emmanuel Sanders?
I do. Kirk Cousins.
I think he's more apt to. I think he's got more of an arm and more, reps at throwing that pass than Jimmy. And I think, I don't know. I just don't know if the primetime thing would mess with him as much if he was a Niner. Because
it's all guessing.
Yeah.
Like the quarterback, yes, they're asked to do a lot as far as knowing what's going on down the field, but when it comes down to what they're supposed to do, the scheme is kind of like, once you figure out what you're looking at, the scheme is like dummy proof. You know what I mean? Once you understand what's going on, once you know what you're looking at and what you're looking for, then you just have to be like Brock Purdy and throw the ball when you hit your back foot. You know what I mean? So that's something I think Kirk Cousins could probably overcome the whole primetime thing from being able to just be confident in knowing I know what I'm looking at. My foot just hit the back, my back foot just hit. Now I need to throw. So, you know what I mean? So I think it kind of takes him having to be a hero out of it and actually just have to focus in on just doing exactly what has been dialed up, because if you go off script at all, you're messing up a really good play. You know what I mean?
So on that note, with the rumors that he's going to be a free agent after this year, and he's already he said he's not going to waive his no trade clause. At what point during Brock's development or not development do you make the move to get Kirk Cousins or stay with Brock? Like, what would be the tipping point for one or the other?
I don't. When's the trade deadline?
31st.
I don't think we trade for him at the trade line. It would have to be during the offseason. I really don't think we'd make a trade during the trade deadline.
You just tank. I don't think we have enough games from then to really figure out if this one game is something that could be multiplied throughout the season. You know what I mean? Like, is it something that is cause for concern and now you could see a trend? I don't think we have enough games to really see that, so I don't see anything happen before the trade deadline.
So what would be your tipping point then?
Well, it would probably be like, what are we talking about? Like, are we talking about this last game, this last performance every game for the rest of the season?
At what point during the season do you decide that, or during the season, at what point during Brock's development do you say, you know what, he's not it. We need to get somebody better or somebody we have more confidence in.
When he turns into Mac Jones or something close to it.
Fair enough.
You know what I'm saying? Like Mac Jones came out, was doing good, but then fizzle, big, hard fizzle, crash, burn. So, yeah. And I don't see him being a Mac Jones at all.
No.
Because also Mac Jones is also cocky. You know, he kind of was, you know, the big cock essentially in the hen house. You know what I mean? For all those years in his college. So even when he's doing shitty, he doesn't think, you know, like look at Zach Wilson. Nope, I don't have any accountability in this loss whatsoever. No accountability. So
Hey,
Brock's not that
remember
guy.
they just stepped up and beat the Chiefs. The Jets did. So could Zach Wilson be turning a corner?
Yes, he could be. Well, there might have been things that Aaron said to him that really clicked. There might have been some shit that was, you know, some soul searching level shit that was told to him, and Aaron was like, look, you can either believe me or not, but I want you to think about it. And he goes home and he's mind blown. You know, not to say that Aaron Rodgers is some know-it-all, this and that, but he does spend time reading into certain things to kind of find a higher way of thinking of things, you know, thinking things on a higher level than just ground level. So some of that stuff, when people are really searching for something in their life to change themselves in a bad spot, sometimes certain words that ring true to them will kind of grab hold and drive them to where they need to go. So who knows? It might have been just some, you know, some kind of little phrase that you might see on, you know, Instagram that tells you, you know, keep your head down and work hard. It could be something like that. It could be him seeing what actually is the process of being a top NFL quarterback. Maybe he didn't know he had to spend hours upon hours at home watching tape. And maybe he didn't know how to watch tape. Maybe he didn't know what to start looking for. Maybe Aaron was able to say, look, just look at this and this and this. That's all you really need to worry about. Because all the other stuff is essentially like how they teach schemes. They're almost all the same throughout the league. Like if you're corner on the outside and it's single high safety, guess what? You need outside leverage. No one's going to change that up. They're not going to put their corner on inside leverage when they got a single high safety. You know what I mean? Like you could try, but somebody's going to take advantage of you, and you're going to be fired real quick. You know.
I'm going to ask Randy real quick. I know number 1 is going to be CMC. Number 2 is going to be, is it Zach Moss for the second rusher in the league right now?
Oh, do you need me to look at
Zach
that?
Ross, or it's going to be Devon Arcane? That's my 2 guesses on who number 2 is. I'm pretty sure McCaffrey is still number 1. Let's see what Randy says before I look it up myself.
Sorry, I just noticed Joe text me back.
Why is Joe not here?
Last time I seen, he was on that like Bobcat or whatever with the nephew. He got a Bobcat. I remember. Hey, so I went to a party out at Granite Falls, and they were stirring the fire with a backhoe.
That sounds about right for fucking
You know what I'm
Granite
saying?
Falls.
Out there on Jordan Road.
Okay, Ryan, I have a question for you. Can you drive anything? I'm excluding aircraft, but if it goes, can you get in it and go?
Me,
You know, like bobcats, backhoes, just whatever.
for the most part, like, okay,
Yes.
so have I spent a lot of time on those machines? No, but I've used some of them at times, and the last time I did was on my work party to win $300 and a $200 what's that cooler company that everybody, it costs a lot of money.
What,
Anyway,
Yeti?
I won Yeti cooler, $300, and you had to pick a ball up with the little backhoe. You had to pick the ball up off of a cone and then put it in a trash can. And I tied in the last second. Like the guy I went up against had a lot more training on this thing than me because he's like friends with the boss and, you know, been over many a times playing with that shit. I cranked that out and then ended up winning in a game of cornhole. It was a tiebreaker game, cornhole.
Well, I just ask because, you know, a lot of people have some hillbilly in them. And if you can get in something and drive it, you definitely have hillbilly in you. And I can
Well,
get in anything and drive it, you know.
yeah, like
Me too.
I could drive it, but operating like all the attachments, I'm gonna need a couple seconds to figure out what does what, and then I'm good. You know what I mean? Just
Whether
give
or
me a
not
couple
it's
seconds.
driven safely is a totally different question.
Normally, with any kind of machinery like that, my foot's all the way on the gas because that shit moves so slow. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. My dad, my dad's a car farmer. Okay, he's got hella cars in his field, and he moves them around from time to time, and he does it all by himself with a Kubota tractor, some chain, and a couple of tires. And he'll walk between the Kubota tractor and the car, adjusting the steering wheels, moving the cars around the lot. One time as I was a kid, they had to cut down a tree in our driveway because it was something affecting the power lines. So they left all the rounds there, and they were massive rounds. And my dad took his Kubota out there, started picking up the rounds. Well, he got one that was too big, it wasn't necessarily too big, but he was picking it up, and it was too high off the pile, and it was awkward in the bucket. So it started to, well, it might have been too big because he started to tilt over on the Kubota, and I had to jump on the back of it to ride it. I was a good 260 pounds at that time, so I was a good little bit of weight on the back end there. Yeah, we had fun.
All right, so I couldn't wait for Randy anymore. It looks like it's CMC as number one. Travis Etienne is at 504. Zach Moss is at 466. And Devon Arcane, or Archon, whatever you want to call it, is at 460. Not sure where he was leading into that question, but there we go.
Oh, let's see. Oh, did you put that in the private chat?
No, I
Jason.
put it in there regular, but it came out all sorts of fucked up.
Oh, here. Let me.
I'm fixing it now.
I got it.
I didn't think Etienne had that many yards rushing.
It should be a clickable link for everybody. Also, in about 19 minutes, we should be heading over to Korey's channel there is a clickable link in your in my description to the next show. So when you're ready to switch over, just go in the description, hit the link, and you'll be right over there. Oh, and
yeah,
Jason,
that's in 16 minutes.
last
What up?
week I noticed you came in and you stream the other stream to your channel. We just want to stream it on one channel. That's kind of why we move it around, so everybody has to go to the one that's hosted it, essentially.
Okay. My bad.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, so all good.
You're all good. You're all good. I know it wasn't anything, I know you weren't trying to like sneak something. I was
Nope.
thinking about it. I just wanted to.
No problem. My bad if I did that. I was just doing what I normally do.
You're all
so
good.
My bad.
It's no nothing. It's no nothing. What do we got going on here? Saints, yeah. Saints almost won last night. Yeah,
Almost
87.
Is
was
87
Brian.
Mario, their tight end, that missed that catch?
I think so.
Yeah, 'cause he was wide open, and that was definitely in his hands.
Yeah.
What was that like for the win?
Basically,
I
Well-
believe right.
Well, for the tie.
It was
Yeah.
close. Like it would get them closer to a field goal.
no, that was in the end zone. If it's the play I'm mistaken of, it
Oh.
was in the end zone. He should have caught it. It was on his fingers.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave because I'm gonna go use the restroom, then get ready for my show.
All right, Corey. We'll see you over there in just a little bit.
Okay.
And Korey is over there at Lockdown Korey Davis' show. Make sure everybody shows up to his channel.
Yeah, Corey Davis with a K, folks, on YouTube.
I had to mute myself. There was like 1 whole minute of bikers outside. I live next to a freeway. They're riding their motorcycles on Friday night.
Go drop kick them. Don't do that.
Uh-huh.
John, did you change the times for your streams?
Yeah, because I started working full time again. It's all in the afternoon because I'm doing kids sports, and so from 2 to 7, that's where they do their activities. So I'm working full time
Gotcha.
now. So
What
yeah,
do you do?
I work back with the San Francisco Recreation and Park Department. Sports, after school activities. They do community service for the communities. They do a lot of things, but I'm in charge of youth sports because the person who was doing it quit because they didn't want to do it no more, and they gave me a
Who doesn't
call.
want to do that job?
Huh?
Who doesn't want to do a job like that?
I don't know.
What up, Lord Cat?
Yeah. So one of the bosses called me who remembered me. He said, "Hey, yo, we need someone. We'll pay you. We'll fill out the paperwork for you. You used to work there." And that's all right. I need the money. So yeah. Gotta wear my
So you're
old
just like in charge of like kids sports and telling them where to go kind of thing?
Yeah, it's very simple. Basically, at 2:00, I get there. I do paperwork. What I used to do, organize the sports activities. Then the kids we pick them up after school at a nearby school. We walk them over there, and then they go to play in the gymnasium, and then they do their homework. It's like an after school program, and it's very easy. And then other days, they got like the kids who are registered for basketball, and you teach them how to play basketball. I used to coach for a long time, so it's so easy for me. And I got to train the teenagers because they're called youth workers, and we train them how to do the stuff. And all I do is just like watch the teenagers teach the kids how to play basketball. It's the most easiest job. It's like basically $19 an hour for about 5 hours a day. It's the easiest job on earth.
Sounds pretty easy.
So I don't know why someone quit, or maybe like, I don't like coaching kids.
Fuck them kids.
Hey, it's hard. It's hard teaching kids sports because like some of the kids have big mouths, and they love to like some kids are a little bit violent. They will kick you and they will punch you, and you can't do nothing to them because they're little kids.
Yeah.
Dude, I know. I fucking coached wrestling, and especially because I started coaching wrestling the year after I graduated, and there's obviously kids that were still there to when I was just a wrestler, and they didn't want to listen to me. I'm looking at fuck what, like I'm trying to make you better.
So
That's
I miss
when
coaching at times.
Hey, that's when you make them your practice partner to show other kids how to do the moves.
No, that's when I would put, because usually it was like the smaller wrestlers at like 135, 147. I'm like, all right, go practice with the heavyweight. And I would tell the heavyweight, like, look, you're not actually wrestling. All you're going to do is sprawl on every time they shoot in on you and just lay there. Make them work for any sort of move that they want to go to. They got better.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
know.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
I miss coaching. I'm not going to lie. I really miss coaching. If I can get back into coaching this year, I've looked into it a few times to get back into coaching wrestling. I probably would.
You should. They need that. Wrestling is like used to be one of the biggest communities out there, and it is just dwindling.
But it's still so tight, though. It's like most of my best friends now it's from the wrestling team, not football or anything else. Still the wrestling team.
Yep. I know if I need to call people, there's guys. It's something about when you're in that wrestling room and what you all, put out all that energy and all that. There's like nobody else who can match that. You know what I mean? You never seen anybody put that much into something ever before. So it's like even the people that suck, you know what I mean? Even the people that suck at wrestling, they're still there in practice day in and day out. And there's respect for that. Even if you aren't as good as some of the guys you go up against, you're better than most of the kids in the school. You know what I mean?
It transfer. I've seen guys who like didn't start wrestling until their like sophomore year in high school.
That was
they
me.
were kind of like that nerdy guy, didn't know shit, didn't have many friends. But by the time they were seniors, they were a bunch of badasses. It's like the confidence you get versus like any other like team sport like football, basketball, baseball, or anything. You can't compete with it when it comes to wrestling because it makes you push your individual self harder than anything else ever could.
So started playing football sophomore year, and then I thought that was the toughest thing ever. Right? I thought, oh my God, this was tough. And then my English teacher tells me I should wrestle. And I'm like, nah, I don't think so. And then he tells the toughest kid at the school, Joe Kubek, shout out to Joe. He tells him, you're going to make him wrestle. And Joe Kubek looks over me like immediately. And he goes, if you're not up in the wrestling room by the end of this week, I'm going to beat your ass. So my ass was, he's a senior. He's 148 pounder, even though he's walking around at like 160. You know what I'm saying? And he's the toughest son of a bitch in the school. And nobody says shit. In fact, after I became a wrestler, there was this guy, like the second semester of my senior year or my sophomore year, I went to a place called Culinary Arts. Well, there was a guy in there named Mark Miller, and Mark Miller was trying to like haze me because I'm a sophomore, and I mentioned something to Joe about him, and he goes, "Who?" I said, "Mark Miller." He'd been giving me a hard time. He's like, "You tell that motherfucker Mark Miller that he does anything to you, I'll fuck him up." And so the next time Mark Miller started messing with me, I think it was Mark Miller, he
It
goes,
stops.
he said something, and I go, I don't know if Joe would like that. And he said, Joe who? And I said, Joe Kubik. And he like, oh, I'm sorry. And then he turned around and walked away. You know what I mean? Like that's the guy who's like, you wrestle. And like his nephew ended up becoming a big time wrestler. Like his family's like big in the wrestling community.
People
Kubik.
who never wrestle don't believe me when it's like 5 minutes on the mat is 10 times harder than an entire football game, even if you play
Yeah.
both sides of the ball.
Yeah. My football was so easy after my first year of wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
Football was
Nothing.
like,
It was easy.
yeah, practice was fun. Practice was fun in football. You know what I mean? Like everybody doing all
I
this
can
running,
actually
they're all
breathe
pissed off.
for 30 seconds here.
Oh, it was crazy. I'm just like, okay, we got to run. Okay, let's run. People are like, oh, this is bad. And I'm like, you don't know shit. You don't know what bad is.
And we used to run 10 downs, which, depending on who you play for, whatever, it's basically sideline to sideline, 10, 9, 8,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. And everybody else is bitching and moaning. I'm like, all right, let's go. We got this. I'm like, we run 10 downs in the bleachers as wrestlers, so shut the fuck up.
Yeah. That was like our before practice stuff. We would
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
we would either have to run like an outside perimeter, which was like, I don't know, like 3 miles or so, or we would have to run the track for a mile and then do 4 sets of stairs, which there was 4 big sets of stairs.
I remember I got hooked on wrestling as a freshman because, or I wrestled who was the Far East champion, which I guess in Japan you could consider like the state champion, as a freshman. And I got a lucky head and shoulder takedown, and I pinned him in like 14 seconds.
Oh,
Best
wow.
moment of my life to this day. There was nothing else better than that takedown instantly.
I was told one of our wrestling coaches was a 4-time Japanese grand champion, and he came over here and defected, and my English teacher adopted him as like a fully grown son, and then he wrestled for him at what is it right up there? What's a college up in Bellingham? Western.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I was like, wow. I guess he took second in the US, or I think he took second in the US Open. And in the semifinal, he beat some Marine who swore at him. And like like the match wasn't going well for Nara at that point, but I guess he said, God damn it, Nara, stay in bounds. And Nara got pissed because he said, God damn it. And Nara split his nose in half when they squared up again. he put his hands, he pushed down on the back of his neck and brought his palm up through his nose and broke his nose, and then like grabbed him around the, like barred him around his throat, and then grabbed his ankle and touched him.
Wrestling's weird, man. It's like
happy.
One of my best friends, he was the state wrestler, and then I was going up against the state champ from the year before when I first moved here, my senior year. And he made a bet. He's like, "Hey, if you can beat this guy, I'll take you out to dinner." Blah blah blah. I'm like, "All right." So I beat him. And so like the next day of practice, he comes up there, like I threw him up against a wall. I'm sure you know how wrestling rooms are, just wall with like pads on them. I threw him up against a wall that didn't have pads on them, just hard as shit. Because he was the only person who could actually push me. I was the only person that could push him. And at that point, me and him started fighting. We were actually throwing blows at each other. They broke us up. We were throwing chairs at each other from halfway across the fucking room. And afterwards, he's like, "Hey, man, I owe you dinner. Want to go to dinner tonight?" I'm like, "Cool, let's go." And to this day, he's one of my best friends. But it's just like, it's funny how that works out with your wrestling friends versus everybody else.
Yeah. Also, the
Somebody can put up
feeling.
Raphael. He just showed up. How you doing, brother?
Raphael. Appreciate you, sir. How are you doing with your Raiders, sir? I know it hasn't been looking as good as of late. We appreciate you. Wish you had a quarterback who could really
Not get hurt. I think I saw Jimmy's got this week, isn't he? With a back injury now.
I think so.
Poor Jimmy. I don't give a shit about you.
Yeah, I don't think he's what that offense needs. You know what I mean?
Who?
Don't.
Who?
James Richard.
Oh, that guy that I don't give a shit about because he ain't on the Niners. That's right. That guy.
It's funny that the guy
Oh.
that plays better than him right now in the Raiders is Brian Hoyer.
Jesus.
We'll see. They go up against the Bears at Chicago, and typically Hoyer will come in for one game or even a partial game, play pretty good, but then here he comes. The next week, Hoyer the Destroyer.
Once he starts, he'll come in and handle the last of a game for you, and you'll be like, hell yeah, dude, the guy's finally figured it out. He's and then you start him the next week, and you're like, fuck.
Look, one of the three of us could probably lead the Raiders over the Bears right now.
I don't know about that.
I do. I'd put money on that.
I'm one to say that I can do a lot of things, but that's not one I'm prepared to say.
I'd put money in between me or David. I would put money. One of us could beat the Raiders on Sunday.
Jimmy probably even runs faster than me, I'm sure.
Yeah, but you probably don't get us hurt as much as Jimmy does.
All right, guys. I'm shooting over to Korey Davis. That's Korey with a K, folks. I'll see you in a minute.
Later, brother.
All right. Yep. And we'll be shutting this down. So make sure.
It's been good, my dude.
Yeah. Anybody that's in the chat right now, make sure to go into the description and click on the link. Korey will be starting his show, and we will be jumping over there. So please go pile in over there. Make sure you hit the like button on the way in. Much appreciated.
Deuces. Y'all have a good night.
Take her easy. All right. I'm going to end it. I want to thank everybody coming out tonight in the chat. Really appreciate you, and I'll see you over on Korey's stream.